In other words, where should we be reining in some of these big tech companies and protecting consumers? And where has this been an overreach in your view?
Yeah, so start by saying we differentiate, to your point, between what we call big tech and what we call little tech. And people can decide whether this is valid or not, but we believe it is. Which is big tech are the companies that have made it, and the companies that have some level of market power such that at least people are accusing them, of being, the dreaded, monopolies or cartels or, oligopolies. These kind of big words that mean, kind of very large amounts of market power. So that's big tech, and everybody. Those are household name by definition. If you're big tech, you're a household name. We then define what we call little tech, and little tech is startups, right? And so it's new companies that have this aspiration to become big companies. There is this sort of funny cycle of life aspect to it, which is all the little companies start out wanting to be big companies,
Of
right?
course. Yeah. What is the
right?
goal of little tech? It's to be big tech.
Is to be big tech, right? Exactly. And so there is this cycle of, and this is how the tech industry has played out for 80 years, which is you have your existing big tech companies, and then you have these little tech startups, and then most of them fail, but when they succeed, they become big tech, and then basically the cycle repeats. And then what the role of the venture capital firm is to fund each new generation of little tech company, right? And so you end up basically, what we end up doing, like most of our day job, is to fund companies that are trying to grow up to take out the existing big tech companies and replace them. And so there's not, I would not even characterize this in like moral terms. It's not like the little tech companies don't want to become big tech companies. They do. The question is the question you asked, which is what's the right policy to deal with the consequences of having at the end of the day big companies with lots of concentrated market power. And and there's always a big economic legal debate around antitrust, and it goes back 120 years around that question. I think what I would say is in the last decade, I would say both sides of the political spectrum have really decided they really hate big tech, but for, I would say, like diametrically opposed reasons in a lot of ways. So the left hates big tech for several reasons.